Yes, indeed. Welcome into episode 58 of Rip N Riff here on the Rip N Riff YouTube channel. That over there is Mr. Jared Moore. I am at Pucking Thoughts, Adam Bernard. Hey, 58 is my lucky number, so maybe that'll mean some nice pulls today for Rip N Riff here. Jared, we are ending week 9 of the NFL season, about to enter week 10. Going to talk a little football later, but how was the weekend?
Forget the weekend. Forget numbering. Forget week 9 for a second. When did we start numbering episodes?
Well,
I realized that we were doing that.
We were seasons, and I realized, like, why do we have seasons? Like, we're not like that's not. So I just counted up all the ones we had, and that's how we got to where we are today.
Well, this might be a conversation for off the air, but are we going to do something special for episode 69?
I mean, it's definitely a conversation for off the air, and yes, and we've got 11 weeks to plan. That's roughly 3 months. So yeah, we'll have to do something special for that one.
All right, you may continue.
I mean, I don't I don't want to go down that path. I already had anyway. Yeah, there we go. And that's what Rip N Riff's all about. We open some packs, we have some laughs, we joke around, we have a good time here. We're gonna do a lot of football today. We did a lot of baseball recently. Probably time to give that a little bit of a break, especially the way our respective baseball teams and seasons ended. And yeah, we'll do a little basketball today, but before let's just get into the pack ripping lineup. Let's see what we got here today. So I'm gonna go with some 2014 Topps Fire football. I mean, look at that pack. It's got Johnny Manziel on fire. How could you go wrong? Looking not a great rookie class. You know, Mike Evans in there, OBJ, Jadeveon Clowney, Derek Carr, Jimmy Garoppolo. And you can see some of the inserts there, the double and triple autographs forged by Fire Relics. And then we're going to do something a little special today. We haven't really given the basketball its true love with the season starting. We had Mike Riker on last week, special guest from Top of the Hops podcast, by the way. Happy birthday, Mike Riker. But we're going to do some 96-97 Fleer basketball. And I mean, and you know that rookie class right there. Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson, Steve Nash, Ray Allen, Antoine Walker. You see all the names there. And yeah, looking forward to that. What do you got, Jared?
All right, so I got 2024 Score NFL rookie trading cards, and you see all the rookies there. Although now that I'm reading that list real quick, it says no C. Williams. So I am curious about that one. I'm sure that came up when you were doing your research, Adam. So is there a backstory behind why Caleb Williams isn't in this line?
So he has. So some people think the reasoning is because he has an exclusive with Fanatics, and that like got into is that the reason? But they also said that like, other things I saw online is like he's not in the 2024 Score Football is one of the first of the 2024 cards to come out, so maybe he'll be in different lines, but he's not in this one, and there's no official Caleb Williams rookie card that most people are aware of yet. So
unacceptable.
But there's some other good rookies in that class.
Yeah, I mean, there's other good rookies in that class. Jaden Daniels is probably going to win the Rookie of the Year. Drake May had a moment yesterday with the game-tying touchdown at the end of regulation. And, Marvin Harrison Jr. looks like a stud. Malik Neighbors, I wish the Giants were better so they could actually utilize Malik Neighbors to the best of his abilities. But, yeah, there's some pretty good rookies in this class. So I'm excited to see what we got in this one.
Me too. And just on that, Drake, when we could talk about football, we're going to get into football in a minute here. Drake May, great moment yesterday. Can this not be like a Connor Bedard like Blackhawks thing? Where like, okay, the Blackhawks were a borderline dynasty, and then they sucked for like 2 years, and then they get Connor Bedard out of it, and they're going to be good again soon. Like, can that not be the Patriots where they were a dynasty, then they lose Brady, they suck for a little while, and now again, it's just one play, one season, but can that not happen, please? Like, can I get a little bit of a break?
I don't think you have to worry about that. I don't think Drake May is all that good, but he did have a moment yesterday. I mean, it's tough to evaluate the Patriots just because there's nothing there. Well, in terms of skill position players, like the best skill position players they have are Ramondre Stevenson, who is a running back who's probably got like 2 years left of being a quality player in this league, and Hunter Henry, who's been in the league for like 10 years now and kind of is what he is. So,
yeah. I mean, listen, it's the Patriots are going to be in one of the top picks of the class this year, but it's just let the rebuild take a little while here. That's all I'm saying. I've had enough of it.
By the way, look at the tankathon. You got just a whole laundry list of 2 and 7 teams.
I know it's like the Saints, there's like a really good tier, a very limited like mid tier, and then a lot of like I don't want to say crap, we'll say sewage.
100%.
We're talking a lot of football anyway. Let's just do a little punting or going for it here. It's a segment we'll sprinkle in sometimes about teams we're either hot on or cold on. And a team I'm going for it with here is the Cincinnati Bengals. What right now they're coming off, I understand it was the Raiders at home and whether Antonio Pierce finishes the season as the Raiders head coach, he's probably a good next bet on the next coach to be fired after a Dennis Allen let go in New Orleans earlier today. But I think that they're going to be just fine making the playoffs because, you kind of look at a few teams. We know Kansas City, we know Buffalo, we know Baltimore. I'm even ready to put Pittsburgh in, so you have, the North winner and then the wild card. Houston out of the South, even with the Diggs injury. And then you look, and then it's just kind of like that little mediocre area where you have like the Broncos, the Colts. I'll still put the Jets in there, the Bengals, and then the Chargers. So why can't the the Bengals are a team that we expected to potentially compete for the division at the beginning of the year. I know they lost to the Eagles last week. They did not look good there, but they have won 3 of the last 4. They're beating teams. They got a short week here at Baltimore. So we'll see how they handle the Ravens. But then after that, it's the Chargers, home for the Steelers, at the Cowboys, at the Titans, home for the Browns, home for the Broncos, and at the Steelers. Figure they split with Pittsburgh. They have the Denver game is absolutely going to have huge implications for one of those last spots, so they control their own fate there. They get Cleveland and Tennessee on the schedule, a Dallas team that just looks terrible. We'll get into that. And the Chargers, too, another team that's, hey, if you want to get this, that's a team you need to beat to make sure you have the tiebreaker. So I'm going for it with the Bengals here. I really think they're going to close down the stretch strong. They've done that in the past. I don't see why it doesn't happen again here.
The problem with the Bengals is they've pissed away their margin of error. With all the early losses in the early portion of the season. But if we're just speaking strictly from a talent standpoint, I would agree with you in the sense that I would take the Bengals over all of the other AFC East teams that not named Buffalo. I would take them over the Browns. I would take them over the Colts. I would over the rest of the AFC South. I would take them over the Broncos. So, yeah, I definitely agree with you in that respect. So, pretty good going for it there. I don't know if they get there just because, they are 4-5. It's, they have winnable games on that schedule, but it's not the easiest schedule to navigate the rest of the way. And like I said, they don't really have much of a margin of error the rest of the way. So, we'll see. I got a feeling the AFC we're going to get a 9-8 playoff team.
You look at that early season and you're like, they lost their cushion. Like, okay, the Patriots lost at home to open the season. That can't happen. But at Kansas City, fine, you lost by a point. We now know the Commanders are a legitimate football team. They lost to them week 3, and that was a wild one. And then, they lost to Baltimore at home once already, and that was a wild one in overtime too. So, there's a big – I think the division is probably too far – not to say too far gone, but they have a very large uphill climb, and it would have to start with beating the Ravens in Baltimore in a short week. But that would go a long way for at least playoff contention because, like you said, you got Bo Nix in Denver, so you don't – even with the good defense there – the Colts last night, Joe Flacco is steadying the ship, and they have a good defense. But are they a team that you're like, oh yeah, they're for sure a wild card team? No, they could be, but it's not a lock.
Right. All right. So that's a pretty good going for it. I'm going to punt this week on the Dallas Cowboys, and probably should have punted on the Cowboys a few weeks ago. The Dallas Cowboys suck. I watch this team every week. They're just not good. Dak Prescott has not been very good this season in the weeks leading up to this week, and now he got hurt. And Jerry Jones says after the game that he's concerned about Dak's hamstring. So I was like, oh, good. That's always what you want to see there. They don't have a running game. Rico Dowdle is not the answer. Zeke can't be bothered to show up to meetings on time. Dalvin Cook's washed. They can't stop the run, which is a concern. They couldn't stop Kirk Cousins yesterday from throwing the ball all over the place. They don't have any playmakers on offense aside from CeeDee Lamb. And they just lost what I would call a winnable game against the Falcons. I know the Falcons were 5-3 going into it, and I know the Falcons were home. I don't think anyone considers the Falcons to be world beaters. And if you're a playoff team, a playoff caliber team like the Cowboys sort of fancy themselves as being, because Jerry said before the year that they're quote unquote all in. If you're a playoff team, you got to win that game, and they didn't win the game, and they haven't won a whole lot of games. I get they're missing pieces on defense like Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence, but this team's just not very good.
And the thing with CD Lamb too is he really he was banged up and he had to lobby to keep going back on the field. So it was not for lack of effort for CD Lamb. Like he was clearly playing, and it seemed like it was that shoulder, and it was one of those deals where yeah, he would just get brushed, just anything that could happen to make that shoulder feel worse throughout the course of the game kept happening to him, and he kept wanting to go back out there. So I mean, got to admit the spirit there. But I mean, yeah, and listen, if you're trying to find silver linings, Cooper Rush is an okay backup. He can manage a game for you. But yeah, I mean, the Cowboys, you look at the NFC East, the Eagles, we knew were going to be a good team this year, even if people thought they would take a little step back. Although with the addition of Barkley, that hasn't been the case. The Commanders certainly, everybody, the darlings of the league with Jaden Daniels right now. And the Giants are a bad team, but they hang in games. The Cowboys, until Jerry Jones starts to just fade into just being an owner and actually get somebody in there, it's just going to be the same old stuff with the Cowboys. It's just the same old cycle every year. Okay, they're good, they're playoff good, but they're not good enough to really win in the playoffs. And then some, a Dak Prescott injury, and now they're probably going to look at missing the playoffs in a very tough NFC. So, I mean, and there's still a lot of season left, but I mean, it's a comedy errors down there. They just need to get a new mindset in there. When I say a new GM, I don't mean make your son the GM. I mean somebody else.
Right, go outside the building and hire somebody. And I know you said Cooper Rush is a quality backup. They didn't give Dak Prescott $60 million a year because they want to play Cooper Rush. So I mean, that's a whole other thing as well. So the Cowboys are not making the playoffs. I think we can go ahead and definitively put the fork in them. They are done. D-U-N, done.
Done. I mean, yeah, look at the landscape of the NFC. The entire NFC North is either very in the playoff picture or Chicago's still a wild card, team, I think, even though they've had a rough couple of weeks there. They could still contend for that. And the South, like you said, the Falcons are kind of big fish, small pond right now. I know Tampa's tough, but I mean, the Falcons are the best team in that division, but they also have the Saints and the Panthers in that. So there you go. And they are beatable. They're a good team. They're a team that can maybe win a playoff game or two, but they are beatable. And the Cowboys, a couple of things go differently. Maybe they get that game yesterday. And then you look at the West, it's wide open right now, although I think Seattle's starting to maybe show what they really are. Is Arizona this good? I don't know. San Francisco's been banged up all year. The Rams, they win games, and then we hear that they're trying to trade Cooper Kupp. So what the hell? What direction are they going in? But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of quality teams out there, and Dallas is not showing themselves to be one of them.
Right, and just to hammer home the point on the schedule with the Cowboys, they still have the Eagles twice. They still have the Commanders twice. They have a home game against the Texans. Yeah, they have the Giants. They have the Bengals. They go to Carolina. They have a home game against Tampa Bay. They're also 0-3 at home. They haven't won a home game yet. So, and I doubt that's going to start this week when they host the Philadelphia Eagles. So,
what would be awesome? They play the Giants at home on Thanksgiving. Wouldn't it be something? Wouldn't that be the exclamation point on the season? If Daniel Jones comes in and has sets the world on fire for one game on Thanksgiving, just to really put a crap in the Cowboy season.
Well, the Giants can't have nice things. So knowing the Giants' luck, Daniel Jones will start that game because they haven't benched him by then, and then he tears his other ACL, and the Giants are on the hook for Daniel Jones for another year. That'll be what happens. That'll ruin the holiday ruin the holidays in North Jersey.
Quick note about Daniel Jones here, just doing stuff on a Sunday, and you see the scrolling line on the bottom with the stats and the score updates, and I see a line at one point that says Daniel Jones passing 4 of 4, 0 yards. I'm like, yep, that is a Daniel Jones passing line in the second quarter. Absolutely.
And that was basically the line at the half. It was 4 for 6, 0 yards, 1 touchdown.
Yeah, there it is right there. That's your career. Let's start ripping some packs. What do you say? Why don't you lead off? Let's go backwards.
Yeah, I think I'll lead off since we got the football here.
Let's do it.
We're going right into this with the Panini scorecards, and if you don't mind pulling up the East Coast cam, we start this one with a really nice insert card here of. It's funny, we just talked about the Cowboys. Cowboys, I don't know if you call him a legend or not, but Danny White.
He is a Cowboy fan. He's pretty highly regarded and loved. So, yeah, he's a Cowboy legend. I mean, especially now because, they really haven't had any legends since, the White House era Cowboys. Tony Romo, fine, but.
And this is number 6 of 299. So
Oh,
yeah, really nice trippy card here. I like this one.
that's
Unfortunately, not all the cards won't be this nice, but
say it's a good leadoff card there.
yeah, it is a pretty good leadoff card. And we go right from that to the Seahawks, who Kenneth Walker, and the Seahawks lost that game yesterday to the Rams. Alvin Kamara with the Saints, and you mentioned it earlier in the show. Dennis Allen, the latest head coach to get the axe. He was notified this morning that his services will no longer be required.
I don't think anybody was surprised by that. I mean, nobody. I don't think those expectations were high for the Saints this year, but then they come out the way they came out those first 2 games of the season. It was like, whoa, it's a weak division. Maybe they can make some noise, and it's been nothing since. Just awful since. And I know they didn't have Derek Carr, and you had Spencer Rattler in there for a little bit, but it's just not a good time to be a Saint.
Yeah, losing to Carolina is the final straw there. Losing to Bryce Young, who doesn't beat anybody, is the final straw. And I mentioned that because the Giants play the Carolina Panthers in Germany this week. So I don't necessarily think this will be the end of the road for Brian Dable and Joe Shane, but they might want to consider alternate flights home if they find a way to lose that game. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, talk about a matchup to send overseas. I know the Jaguars stunk for a while and they played in London every year, but like, geez, Giants, Panthers, and Germany. And they got Machine Gun Kelly for halftime just to really just complete the crap sandwich.
Oh, my God. Did they really?
He is performing at the game.
That's what you want to call Machine Gun Kelly. All right, we got a couple Jets legends here. Vinny Testaverde, that's one of the better quarterbacks in Jets history, which says a lot about Jets history. And one of the best defensive players in Jets history with Darrelle Revis.
See, Jared, you're putting a smile on my face because Revis was the last era they were good. And then the Testaverde era before that, that was like the first time they were really good in my lifetime. So this is a nice little moment here. This is good. I like this pack.
Yep. And, well, we go from that to another quote-unquote Jets legend. Although he's here with the Bengals with Boomer Esiason.
Okay. Well, listen, the Boomer years, that he didn't have a ton of help. That was back when, the coaching situation was blah. But Boomer Esiason, hell of a quarterback, especially back when quarterbacks would throw for 4,000 yards, no problem.
All right, let's do a few modern players here. We got DJ Moore with the Chicago Bears. Kind of a rough loss there yesterday, the Arizona Cardinals. I guess we could pump the brakes on the Bears being NFC contenders for this year.
It's one thing to lose on the road to like a team like the Cardinals who are hot right now, but they were almost no shows yesterday. That was not a good look.
Rondale Moore now with the Atlanta Falcons, kind of really struggling to find his footing in the league. He's just, I think he's just too small to play wide receiver.
I mean, he got hurt and he's not playing this year, but I mean, the way the Falcons receiver corps has gone this year, Darnell Mooney's playing well. Drake London, I know he got hurt yesterday, but he's looked good. Kyle Pitts, I mean, Ray McLeod is, getting his targets and stuff. Yeah, I don't know if there's room for Rondale Moore when he comes back.
Yep, we got the Gus Edwards. Go from that to a Hall of Famer here in Tony Baselli here with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Love that old Jacksonville Jaguar look with the sleeve, the Jaguar on the sleeve. Yeah, that's the Jaguars to me.
Yep. You mentioned the Vikings and their big win last night on Sunday Night Football. Aaron Jones, running back for the Minnesota Vikings. Bradley Chubb with the Miami Dolphins. And then another nice throwback card here. Flipper Anderson with the LA Rams.
Also one of the great all-time nicknames. I mean, you don't encounter too many flippers.
No, you don't. It's a good name. Let's see. All right, we're finally into the rookie portion of this. And needless to say, it is certainly disappointed here. Kamal Haddon with the Kansas City Chiefs. Ennis Rakestraw Jr. with the Detroit Lions.
Okay.
Junior Colson with the LA Chargers.
Okay, at least somebody that might actually have a career at some point.
Yeah, shout out to Jim Harbaugh taking his Michigan guys. Let's see. Byron Murphy with the Seahawks.
Big DT.
Max Melton with the, excuse me, I got a burp. Arizona Cardinals. Shout out to Rutgers.
There we go. Scataway.
And Kingsley Sumataya, I guess, with the Kansas City Chiefs.
A for effort, my friend.
I tried. I did a better job than Dog would have done.
For sure.
All right, 3 cards left. We got first ballot Hall of Famer Julius Peppers. We got a celebration card here of Jordan Love, who for some reason I thought looked a lot like Aaron Rodgers on that card for a second, but it's actually Jordan Love.
I'll be honest, even like me watching on a screen, I see what you're talking about. Just like the look, the yeah,
I'm not 100% convinced it's not Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, like I mean it's Jordan Love, but like the look on his face definitely looks like Aaron Rodgers.
He's channeling Aaron Rodgers there.
And league leaders, I guess this is in foot speed here with DK Metcalf, who unfortunately has been on the shelf the last couple of weeks due to injury.
Yeah, and it looks like he's going to be out for a little bit longer there, but love those old Seahawks jerseys. And Julius Peppers, he might be one of the last like two-sport athletes that was actually at least decent in both sports. Might not see that again.
Probably not. I mean, I'm trying to think of other ones that like it seems like that's just the way the modern athletes brought up now is they pick a sport and they focus on that one once they get to a certain point in their development. So kind of is what it is.
And they'll play another sport, but it'll clearly be their B sport that's in the off season or whatever the A sport is. That is for sure. That's how it is nowadays. But yeah. So kicked off with a good pack there. Love that Danny White card. That one definitely needs to get in a top loader. But now I think it's time to go back about 10 years. We'll do some 2014 Topps Fire football here. There we go. And I must say, your pre-ripping packs it's changed me. It's just it's a great way to go into the show. It's one of the things I'm glad I learned from you.
Thank you. I like to think I contribute something to the show other than my good looks.
And you do that as well. So let's start off here. I gotta be honest, these are cool looking cards. Like they really are. All right. So first off, we start off with a Shady McCoy with the Philadelphia Eagles there back when he was still a good running back.
These are really cool looking cards. Was this a Toy Wiz pickup here?
This was indeed a Toy Wiz pickup. I'm set for a little while now. I couldn't make it down to my local shop. Toy Wiz has some good prices. I mean, they're not sponsoring the show. I'm not going to give them more of a plug. We did pull one of the rookies we were hoping to grab here. Here he is, Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah, he's had a long, productive career as a really good pass rusher. He's not going to wind up going to the Hall of Fame or anything, but certainly I would say he lived up to the number one overall pick status.
I mean, we all remember how I put him on the map was that, highlight, the Michigan, South Carolina game where he just, jumped the line, bust through the line. But I mean, yeah, played in Houston for 5 seasons and then he's, bounced around Seattle, Tennessee, Cleveland, Baltimore, Carolina. But yeah, I mean, he was always a force you had to, in terms of pass rushers that you always had to know where they were on the field. Pat continues to improve here. We got Drew Brees from the New Orleans Saints.
Nice.
This might have been this was a pretty good Toy Wiz purchase here. We got Bruce Ellington rookie card here with the 49ers. Don't know much about you, Bruce. Got Jay Cutler here. Back in the day, the Smoking Jay Cutler memes were some of my favorite things on the internet.
Yeah, they were great. And I love the design of these cards because it looks like not only they're about to play football, but they're about to go fight like in like the Roman gladiator.
Yeah, it looks like, like a movie generated like Coliseum-esque gladiator sequel. Yeah, it's a good look here. We got Allen Robinson rookie here with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then let's see here. We closed the pack with Jason Pierre-Paul. Looks like he's got all his fingers here. I can't tell. And depending upon when that incident was. And then to close the pack, we've got a Shady McCoy parallel here. This one's got like a little bit of a hologram look to it there. But yeah, there you go. That's pack one.
I really hate. You have a long, productive career as an NFL player, and the only thing anyone's going to remember you for is the fact that you were a dumbass and you blew off 2.5 fingers playing with fireworks.
Yeah, Jason Pierre-Paul. Let's go back to you for a minute. They were great. You are a feared pass rusher. You're part of that Giants defense of that era that just made offensive lines lives living hell. And yeah, that's what you're going to be remembered for. Is what was it, a 4th of July mistake? Oh well, it happens. Hey, he came back though when he played, so good for him. He figured out the way to make it work. Let's go now. You talk about guys who had Hall of Fame careers. Maybe they didn't get the playoff accolades, but AJ Green.
I love the design of these cards. I don't really have much to add other than I just love the design of these cards. I love looking at them.
Another great receiver of his era. Rest in peace, Demaryius Thomas.
Yeah, it still seems weird that Demaryius is no longer with us.
I will say the Broncos background color scheme for like the space Roman gladiator color, that's the nicest one so far. Look, and this is for 2014. It's still pretty good for 10 years ago. We've got, let's see here. We've got, guy who never panned out with the Titans, but maybe because they didn't use him the right way, Jake Locker.
I would say it's probably a combination of that and injuries and the fact that Jake Locker was kind of a limited upside player and just wasn't very good.
Next up here, we have a guy who was a pretty good tight end for a while, and then was a little bit of a hanger-on at the end, Jimmy Graham.
Yeah, that is the perfect way to describe Jimmy Graham.
So in the Dynasty League we're in together, and the foundational draft, the first draft, I used a second-round pick on frickin' Jimmy Graham because like tight ends were just such a premium. I didn't know what I was doing. It was my first Dynasty draft. And yeah, I always remember like, damn, you wasted a second-round pick on that guy.
Yeah, I kind of wish I could do the rookie draft all over again, just knowing what I know now about how these leagues work. I kind of wish I could do that this time around.
I mean, listen, you've won championships. Obviously, I've been competitive. We'll see how this season goes. But yeah, there are definitely things I'd like to go back in a time machine and change. Rod Woodson here with the Steelers. Another just Hall of Fame career. Never really had a bad season as far as I remember.
Nope.
And then we closed the pack here. We got 3 cards. Now, just like the last pack with the Shady McCoy, where we got the base and then the like hologram parallel there, we got Ndamukong Suh, and then we have the parallel there. So there we go. Talk about feared pass rushers. I mean, before Aaron Donald, I mean, Ndamukong Suh was more of a prick on the field, I feel like, than Aaron Donald. But, I mean, they were, yeah.
Ndamukong Suh was feared because he was one of the dirtiest players in the league when he played.
Yeah.
And
probably in Nebraska.
And like, look, I actually respect the hell out of it in the case of Ndamukong Suh, but like, you gotta call it what it is. And like, he was just notoriously a dirty player.
So here's something I will say, and I seen this. You remember those like old NFL films, like videos on VHS they put out like when we were kids? Like, I remember there was one about playing in football, and the guy's like, if you want to play on the offensive line or the defensive line, you have to like hurting somebody and you have to like being mean. Like, otherwise, it's just not, you can't play the position on either side.
Right.
So, and Ndamukong Suh had no problem liking hurting people, hurting somebody. And to close the pack out here, certainly not from my era of being a Jet fan, but the guy who made a deal with the devil to get the one Super Bowl in '69 and screw the franchise forever, Mr. Joe Namath.
Do you think he actually made the deal with the devil, or was it somebody else associated with the Jets at the time?
I mean, look at Namath and how much he blew up in the 60s. Like he was an icon both in sports and like in fashion entertainment, like dating the celebrities, having that, I forget what the bar was called on the Upper East Side, which is where all the celebrities would go. Yeah, I mean, it would have to be him. Otherwise, whoever made that deal in his place certainly did him a hell of a favor.
Right.
So yeah, I would say Joe. Good for you, though. I mean, like, listen, you had a good career, and you offered to give up your 12 to Rodgers. You didn't want it. That's fine. But hey, there you go. Good packs. I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like that was money well spent.
That was money well spent, and I may go back to the well if they're still there the next time I have to order from Toy Wiz. So yeah, we got one more pack to go here. We're cruising through this edition of Rip N Riff. Don't forget, give us a like, follow, subscribe, YouTube, Twitter /X, Facebook. It's all there. You see it scrolling at the bottom of the screen. This is the pack we're hoping for. This is where we're hoping to pull a Kobe rookie, an AI rookie, something like that. We got 8 cards here, so it probably will be nothing but duds, but we're gonna give it a shot.
Yeah, you really want that Kobe rookie if you can get it, but who knows? We'll see.
Okay, so let's put the Fleer basketball pack there. All right, so first up out of the pack, we have a rookie rewind here, Kevin Garnett. So good start to the pack there, and love those old T-Wolves jerseys.
That is the most 90s ass basketball card I think I've ever seen. And B, I want to talk about the pack itself because this looks like Fleer gave no fucks during the 90s and decided we are only going to print one pack for our basketball cards, and to save money and to, we're just going to put all the different languages on the front of it. So there's no confusion no matter what market you're in. And this is going to be the card that goes in every market in every, region of the world. And that's it. We're going to save costs on that.
I find it hard to argue with anything you just said there. It makes sense from a business standpoint. They were probably a little ahead of their time in that regard. I mean, you see it there, American edition, Edition Americane, Edition Americana. You just go down the list. I mean, I don't want to go like all the way through, especially I can't read the bottom one. But yeah, it's, I guess smart on their part for production. And yes, that is the most 90s looking. Let's get like 3 colors and have them pop. And yeah, that's a good looking card. Next out of the pack here, we got Horace Grant here pictured with the Orlando Magic. Good action shot there. Member of the first Bulls three-peat.
Horace Grant, who I think was probably best known for being on the Bulls in the original NBA Jam and not being Michael Jordan.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, it was him and Pippen as the original NBA Jam duo. Yeah, Horace Grant. Also, one of the guys that made the goggles, I guess, as cool as goggles could be.
Yeah, you could definitely say that. But I remember mostly NBA Jam just being disappointed that Michael Jordan wasn't in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it goes back to the old licensing stuff. I mean, even back then, that was a thing. We got one of my favorite basketball players of all time, Mitch Richmond.
How about that? It's funny. He actually came up in the topic of conversation in my poker game because one of the guys that I play cards with actually knows Mitch Richmond.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So I need to find out a little bit of the backstory there, but yeah, it's just funny for me that he happened to come up here.
I mean, he was part of the Warriors run TMC, and then he went on to have the career in Sacramento. He was the cover guy on NBA Live 97 because I remember having that for the PC and playing the hell out of it. Yeah, he was a good shooter, and he would definitely have been a great player in today's game. Shout out Eric Fenton here with the Boston Celtics and Eric Williams.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got Bob Sura here with the ugliest Cavalier jerseys of all time.
They're not that bad. I mean, they're not great, but they're not that bad.
Then we've got a looks like here like a sticker card, perhaps, of the Sacramento Kings.
Well, I mean, you've sort of adopted the Kings as your West Coast NBA team, so there you go.
I'm not upset with that at all. That's pretty good right there. And we got 2 pack cards to go here. Both Detroit Pistons here. First up is Allen Houston, of course, remembered more for being a New York Knick, but also a shooter that was ahead of his time. And then we've got from the hardwood leader category here. So here we go, Mr. Grant Hill. So none of the rookies we were hoping for, but a couple of nice cards in there with the Garnett and Grant Hill cards.
You know what I like about that pack is there's a lot of name value in that pack. Certainly, I hate to borrow this term, banger after banger after banger. I feel like there was a lot of that in this pack in terms of star power and players that the casual basketball fan have certainly heard of.
Yeah, even Bob Sura, Eric Williams. If you were a fan of the NBA around those time, you remember that guy. But yeah, this is I was happy with that pack. Of course, with the 96, with the possibility of rookies, it's tough to find cheap packs from that year for basketball and still get 8 cards. So that was a nice value there. I may have to go back to that same seller and see if I could get a couple of more of those. But overall, I'm pretty happy with my packs today. I think this is one of my better pack performances of recent weeks.
Yeah, a little bit of a dry spell, but you certainly picked it up and rebounded nicely.
Thank you.
It's no fault for your own, by the way. I say this like you had something to do with it, and all you really had to do with it was you chose which packs you brought to the table in any given week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm at the mercy of what people send to me as well. I'm trying to find what my pulls of the day would be here. I mean, I've got a couple of candidates. Anything else in the pack? Yeah, it would probably be one of these 3. Let's get my 3 candidates up on the screen. It would either be the rookie rewind, Kevin Garnett, the Ndamukong Suh parallel, or the Jadeveon Clowney rookie.
Very nice. I think my nominee is going to be the Danny White card. I think it's just too nice a card, and the fact it's numbered out of 299, and just, it's Danny White. It's a notable player. But I would definitely go with one of yours. If I were going to vote for one, I just love the look of that Kevin Garnett card. It looks like every folder that you could have bought at a school supply store in middle school. So, I would go with that one.
All right, so there we go. You know what? I would probably vote for the Danny White, but I'm never going to turn away a win. So here we go. I'll take the Kevin Garnett rookie rewind there and there. It absolutely looks like a Trapper Keeper folder insert there for like your social studies class or something. Mm-hmm. I'll take it. So Danny White numbered and Kevin Garnett rookie rewind. Now we get to every point in the show where we could do something called the starting lineup figure 5. Jared's got 5 questions to figure out who's in the box, and if he gets it right, the athlete will be released from his cage. That goes back into the garage for another week. So this week we're going to do some hockey. And without further ado,
we're out of lineup commercials that we don't have any new ones to use for these segments.
No, because there was very few that I could find on the internet. I mean, if you want me to play it, I'm happy to play the hockey one.
You don't necessarily have to. I'm just saying. I guess we ran out of them.
I could probably find a couple more baseball or football ones, but basketball weren't easy to find. In hockey, I had to go all the way to like the variation changed when they did at the end, like the ones that have the motion in them. Kind of look like a silly idiot doing that, but.
All right. I want to mix it up a little bit with the line of questioning. So, the jersey that this player is wearing in the starting lineup.
Okay.
Is it up an Eastern Conference team?
No.
All right.
Western and has always been part of the West, so like you're not going to get screwed on realignment or anything here.
Oh, so like no like Detroit or anything like that.
Correct.
All right. Narrows down a little bit further as well. So, all right. Is this player a forward?
Yes. 2 down. 3 to go.
Is this player a Stanley Cup champion?
1-time Stanley Cup winner.
Is this player in the Hockey Hall of Fame?
Yes.
All right, Western Conference team, 1-time Stanley Cup champion, Hall of Fame forward. Did this player win the Stanley Cup with the jersey that he's wearing in the starting lineup figure?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe not the exact color, but yes.
But he won it with that team, though.
Yes.
Like he didn't win it somewhere else.
Correct. No, he got his cup where you would think this guy got his cup if you guess him correctly. It wasn't like he tacked it on at the end of his career, coattail riding.
Okay.
There we go. Got your 5.
Is it Brett Hull?
Ooh. Right church, wrong pew.
It's Mike Modano, isn't it? Damn it.
Mike Modano.
Crap.
Yeah, I mean, I knew you were close. If I was doing a hockey guessing game, I would go with nationality as a question. I know if you get Canada, it doesn't really help. But and this one, too, I don't know if it really helps because Brett Hull is technically Canadian, but loyal to his word when Canada rejected him the first time he was eligible to play on an international team, and U.S. said, I will take you. He stayed loyal to the United States after that. So he's the exception to the rule. But good guess, just a little off.
frustrating, but what can you do?
And Mike Modano, one of the all-time American great hockey players, and 6'3", 210, a little ahead of his time. His game would still hold up today for sure. He's still a top 2 center in today's NHL.
He would definitely be coveted in today's NHL without question.
Faux show. Now it's going to be. He will not be joining the starting lineup studio audience next week. But this week we're trying to summon the rookie card gods there, as I had many of the rookies we were chasing in the 96-97 Fleer pack. So there's Kerry Kittles from the 97 starting lineup, Allen Iverson from the 98 line, Kobe Bryant also from the 98 line, the only one that's not trying to jump in this picture, and then Ray Allen, a.k.a. Jesus Shuttlesworth, from the 1997 starting lineup line there, pictured with the Bucks. So all rookies we were chasing today.
I'm not really a starting lineup guy. I think you've known that from me. I enjoy you doing the unboxings and whatnot, but there's something about seeing the Kerry Kittles in the NBA New Jersey in the front of it, where it's just like, I really kind of want a couple figures of, just old like New Jersey Nets, like from that era. So like him and like Jason Kidd and I guess Vince Carter when he got traded over there, and some of the guys from like those early 2000s teams that went to the back-to-back finals.
So the only Nets from that era that got starting lineups made for them with that New Jersey Nets era look is Kittles and Keith Van Horn. So then, because before that it's like Kenny Anderson, Derek Coleman, and then like before that, like the really old ones, the ones that go for like crazy amounts of money sometimes if they're in good shape, is like the Dennis Hopsons, Buck Williams, like those, like the back when they still had like the stars on the jersey going down in like the vertical stripe, like that look of Nets era. So yeah, so if you wanted those, and you could get both Kerry Kittles and Keith Van Horn. If you like those, you get those cheap. You get them for like $3 each, probably.
Yeah, I might go and pick up Kerry Kittles.
Like if we could talk off air. I see them pop up all the time. I can always snag one for you and ship it to you. Not a problem. But we could talk later. But again, that today was a good day of pack ripping. All the packs were strong. Football packs, baseball packs. Everybody was happy with that. Now we also did a starting lineup hockey at the end. Jared's been writing for allaboutthejersey.com, covering the Devils for quite some time. So check out his coverage there for all New Jersey Devils stuff. He's also got a YouTube channel at Jared Moore Poker. Those shorts are always entertaining that he puts out there twice a week. And I've got Total Hockey Now coming out later this week on Thursday. We'll be live. Last week we did a Halloween candy draft. So if you want to figure out which candies to keep and which ones to dump on the break table at work, tune in there and we'll help you out with that. But that'll
I watched your candy draft, by the way. And no, this isn't a critique of you. First of all, Chris is very Canadian. Good Lord. So many Canadian candies, and most of which I've never heard of. But let's just say if I was involved with this draft, things would have went very differently.
So what was left? Like, I know the Twix bar was a big omission. That was one that should have been picked. But what else we got here?
Oh, definitely Twix. Chris did have a good call at the end with the Starburst, although he questionable take of him saying the orange and the yellows were better than the pinks one. Very questionable take. I certainly don't agree with him there. The Twix. I like the Kit Kat selection that I think Anthony had.
Yes, he did.
If I could critique it, I actually think the Kit Kat, the bar that they make, that's just the one big wafer bar. That's my favorite version of the Kit Kat.
The one that's got 4 bars in it.
No. It's just like one overgrown bar. It's like one large bar. The Sirius XM vending machine used to have it.
Here, you know what? I can pull up the candy draft right now. We got an extra minute to play with. There we go. So you'll see the draft I was taking right there. I took Reese's Peanut Butter Cups full size in the first round, then Sweet Marie because I had to get a Canadian off the board once the Coffee Crisp was gone, and then Baby Ruth 3 because that's listen, it's one of my favorites. Maybe I reached a little, but I gotta have it. You know, it's one of those things where if I see it in a bowl in front of me, I'm just gonna keep walking over every 5 minutes and taking one. And then
what the hell are Boston baked beans?
All right, so they're candy coated peanuts. You know those like red peanuts you'll see, like they're like in the same section of the candy store with like the 1950s era, like lemon heads, like those really old looking ones. That's where you'll find them. Yeah, I'm an old man. Yeah, I know. My favorite ice cream flavors are butter pecan and pistachio. So I mean that just further drives home the point that I'm
Jesus.
going on. Yeah.
What the hell's wrong with you?
I like what I like. Yes, and then I'm in bed by 8 o'clock after getting the early bird special at 4:30 at the local.
Well, I'll agree with you on that one. I will agree with you on that one. I do enjoy my post dinner nap, and sometimes, some nights I'll just be off the grid after 7:30 because I'm just be like, I'm tired. I got nothing to do tonight. I'm going to bed.
There are times where you'll send me a message and I don't see it till the morning because I fell asleep in the recliner, and I wake up at like 1 in the morning and I'm like, nope, just walking upstairs and going to bed or wherever I'm sleeping that night. Let's face it, I have a 5-year-old, so there's no going to bed at 8 o'clock for me. That's just when like she's starting to get down and I get to do what I have to do at the end. But there we go. That was a fun little trip down the Halloween candy draft. And yeah, we do fun things like that on Total Hockey Now. But that'll do it for this edition of Rip and Riff. Don't forget, at Mr. Jared Moore over there. Yeah, help me point the right way. At Pucking Thoughts here. And yeah, we had some fun. We'll be back with you next Monday for an all-new episode of Rip and Riff. Looking forward to it. See you soon. Thanks, folks.
Not a middle finger, by the way. That's this. No, I'm not going to do that on this.
No, I thought it looked like it, but then I realized you weren't doing it. So I get that you had to, clarify there. Good stuff there. Back with you next week. Rip and Riff. Talk to you soon.